Real Marcoux dealing with Wi-Fi issues, had to restart my router. That was a surprise. That was a big, big, big surprise. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry about the lateness. Thanks for spamming that like button. I really appreciate it. Whew, that was close, guys. I gotta say, I was dealing with a lot of issues this morning and last night, again till 2 in the morning, but that's alright because I've been figuring out my schedule. I kind of take a little bit of the afternoon off so I can work with my daughters on their homework, and then I take a big break, and then I get right back at it, usually around like 9 o'clock, and I just like pump all the way through. Back at it again on the gram. Oh yeah, Matthew. Shout out to the real Matthew. Oh man, those double rainbow shots, Matthew. Gorgeous, man. I think you should blow those up. Particularly the rainbow one. That's a really beautiful shot. But yeah, I'm dealing with all kinds of computer issues this morning. First of the day. So what I did, it's interesting because I was having problems. Episode 1, episode 2, gone. They're just like gone because IG makes them disappear. Uh-oh. So, yeah. Sorry, broke up my concentration for a second. Second, third, fifth, I keep going. Can't stop. Backwards, Ripta. Tip your bus drivers. Try to, like, iron the dollar bill before you tip them, so that way you're not passing any viruses or anything like that. But, yeah, so anyways, IG. So I figured out something wicked cool last night, and it took me forever to figure it out, mainly because I was trying to find this little thing with this little, kind of cord you hook up to your iPhone, also plugs into a jack. So Instagram makes it so that way you can't record your IG videos, live videos, unless you have something special or figure out all these quirks. And I searched and had very much difficulty making that happen. So what I could do is on QuickTime, I could connect my phone to the computer with QuickTime using Movie Record. There's a setting right near the record button that you could choose the iPhone. You can record the live video, play it back, record it, just like a tape. The problem is it doesn't take the audio. I don't know if it's an update I need. I've been updating everything, and that's been, I think, screwing me up. But, so, what I did, I was just like, I'm losing all these things that I'm working really hard on, even though they're not great. They're whatever. I'm working on them. They're kind of fun. They're different, you know? But the thing was, kind of like a dongle. It's, yeah, the dongle thing, whatever it is, frontism. But then I figured it out. I got one of these Zooms. This is mine. This is awesome. I love these devices. And then what I did, so I recorded everything. I recorded just the visual on QuickTime using Movie Record, like a screen share. And then, I took that very same dongle and I connected it to a mini jack cord. And then I connected it to my Zoom and I could hear it. So it was really cool. I was able to record all the audio. So I had to watch it once with all the audio to get that. And then I had to watch it again to just get the visual. Then I took both pieces and I synced them in Adobe. And I'm going to have them up on Instagram TV, IGTV soon. The problem now that I ran into, which I think screwed up my Wi-Fi connection, was that I'm figuring out how to compress that file correctly because IG wants it to be a really slim compression. So I exported one. I tried using the desktop for IG to get it over there. I'm going to get it up hopefully by midnight, maybe earlier. So that way we have archives of these episodes while we are in no man or no woman's land, you know? Or, you know, jeez. Anyways, wow, I was just in the basement. A little dingy down there. I do have a rundown. I actually worked on my rundown last night. I think I'm a little bit more prepared today. and I'm going to try to strike the balance between peppy and episode 2, which was like slow motion. Mr. Marcoux needs way more sleep. So we'll see how this goes. Again, too much headroom. Maybe if I pull this back a little bit, I got this kind of funky setup over here. Alright, cool. Well, anyways, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but, you know, it seems to be fun. I try to get through the lessons quickly, and then if you guys have requests in the end, me doing stupid things or whatever. Yesterday, I cannot freestyle, as you could tell, and it's hard to freestyle. You could tell how hard it is to be a rapper, you know. You gotta have good energy and be able to have a lot of breath, too. So, man, couldn't even rap that trap style rapping. Let's see if we can get that GoPro back in my composition, and maybe the lens, because it's kind of cool to have a little reflection. I like having the cameras like sitting on your feeds as they go up. It's kind of cool, because also when you record the video, you see all the graphics, all the words. Oh, that's okay. Well, I'm going to try to get that, Ray. I'm going to try to get it up on IGTV. Like I said, I had to do some funky... Watch the rest of this, and you'll see what I just talked about with the IGTV kerfluffle that I dealt with this morning, night. I don't know, everything's blending in. It's all getting crazy, so... Anyways, let me look at my rundown and see where I'm supposed to go. Shout-outs, you know, I'm big on shout-outs. Shout-out, Friendlism. Getting the video in super quick. This project's a little different. We're going into the video land. I asked you for a 10-second loop. You could see my 10-second loop. Took me forever. It took me about a half hour this morning as I was waking up just to get that shot. And I kept trying, and I was like, I'm never going to get the shot. And I was like, well, let me look at some of the shots that I took. And I found that shot, and I was like, yeah, that one's pretty good. You know, it's minimalist. There's a real weight for the moment that happens. So I thought it came out okay, but maybe it gives you a little bit of an idea, because for this particular exercise, and for those that aren't part of Tap a Film, our exercise was to create a 10-second video to post on Instagram that could loop. It should have like a beginning, middle, and end, so to speak, like kind of a short mini story or a happening, and that way... Actually, yeah, editing. I just uploaded. I'm going to try it out today. There's like an IGTV edit app that I'm going to try out and see if it's any good. Seems like it's okay. It kind of bogs down the phone, but iMovie is actually really good and free. Yeah, I'll let you guys pick that down the line, because we may do some editing if it's able to do with other people. But also, if you don't have access to stuff, I'm totally comfortable with, I just can't do video, or I can't even take a photo. So in that case, you know, look up some old photos, bring them together, juxtapose them, maybe do a slideshow at least, or something of the sort, if you don't have access to video and stuff like that. But this first project, no editing, just one shot. It's a one take. What a beauty right there. Love her. Juna years ago. Alright, whoa, I am getting a little slow this morning because, wow, I was really caught off guard by that Wi-Fi issue. Alright, so, shout out to the real Juan Noboa. Shout out to Abe Vargas. I saw Abe Vargas in that shot, and that was such a treat, because he was a magnificent film major. One of the first, and really an unstoppable talent. Also was an amazing student, and became a very difficult student just like me, which I really appreciate, because it means you're going to break the paradigm, kid, if you're watching. So know that I still appreciate you no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to do big things, my friend. There was an awesome think tank going on in there. 2 talents, magnificent. Don't have that luxury of iMovie on your phone. Oh, because you've got an Android or something like that. So be creative. Try to figure out what works for you. And honestly, these smartphone apps are pretty intuitive and Takes you some time. Hey, Afro, what's up? How you doing, man? Good to see you. At least the emoticon or whatever it is, the thumbnail. So, yeah. Whoop, get that thumbnail out of the way. Put some stuff in here. GoPro. GoPro's watching you. Oh my gosh. Let's get it!
I'm feeling like Will. I think I'm a prince. I'm feeling myself. I'm loaded with bills. Cause I wasn't blessed with no Uncle Phil. Don't know how it feels. I wanted to flex. They told me to chill. I'm making a flip. My life is a flick. I'm loaded to fill. I got me some paper. Hired a butler and got me a waiter. I want to get married. But none of my shorties remind me of Jada. Or maybe I'm just too afraid to settle. I wish I was planning it different. I think it's a phase. I'm very conditioned. I'm stuck in my ways. I'm scared of commitment. I'm very
so good. Gotta loosen up.
I know I'm the one. Damn it, I made it. I look at my son. I feel like I'm dreaming. He truly a blessing. I'm really elated. I pray that he grow up like Willow or Jaden. I know that he will. I hope he look up to me like we used to look up to Phil. I know that it's real. I lay a brick at a time for something I know I can build. I learn it from Will. I know ain't nothing gonna set us back. You take it from me, I get it back. Me and my homies forever strapped. We roll up on them like Men in Black. I blow your chest to your head and back. I think I done made a mess. I'm in Cali with a vest. That's the Wild Wild West. I told my homies I'm good with the labels, I don't need to sign the dots. They must not know me, they cannot control me.
Two viewers.
Yeah, I grew up on a legend and I gotta show it. I learned a lot from him and I owe it. Homie's my idol and don't even know it. Oh.
Yo, that Joyner Lucas track is sick. I love that beat. Oh, that is nasty, man. Nasty. What is that parody of Will Smith? Born and raised. The playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out. Relaxing all cool and shooting some b-ball outside of my school when a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. Like the centaur. Alright, that was too fun. Let's do some real work. Hey, McKenna! Oh, you are a professional. Let me tell you, this person right here, McKenna, figured this stuff out like a professional, doing it the analog style, like I'm trying to do, and that's awesome. So welcome, McKenna. 4 viewers, early. All right, let's get into some stuff. So, the project. Critique breakdown, you've seen my critiques, they're getting a little bit more refined. The 3 shots were awesome. Some of them would make very good triptychs. The first, the Distance Project 2 would make good diptychs. What are diptychs and triptychs? Well, triptychs is when you take 3 photographs and you place them side by side as one art piece, so you can kind of see their relationship and it feels like one artwork. Like one picture doesn't work without the rest as your art, as the artist. So that's the triptych, you got the 3, diptych, you have 2. And I'm noticing a lot of them would make very, very good triptychs or diptychs. I am definitely approving that Joyner Lucas video. No doubt about it. Sick. The beat, though. Oh, I love it. Alright, so, yes, what you guys are making kind of like a cinematograph. It's kind of like what Instagram has been coining, or Instagram users have been coining. It's kind of like some visual poetry. I kind of like that push on the visual art form that is time-based media. Very exciting to see cinemagraphs happen. Post that to your IG and put that tag in there, tag me, and we'll check it out. But there's some things that you could think about, like what you're going to actually do with it. Perhaps you're going to involve camera movement. Perhaps you're going to involve some kind of tricky cut, whether it be an invisible cut or a jump cut. Something that's going to make it work so it loops. You want someone to be able to watch it, and there should be a looping function on IG that'll let it loop. So try to get that function going. Boomerang, I'm not crazy about boomerang. If you do boomerang, I'm not going to take any points off this time, but try to make it one shot that loops so you can be creative about it. Making your own sort of one style loop, not a one style loop and back and one style loop and back. That's not the point, but again, I'm just happy to see your work and see you engaged. So yeah, work on that. So, camera movement, visual poetry. I consider myself a visual poet whenever I'm trying to make my own personal work. Besides the freelance work, I'm always trying to make stuff that's like a moving painting. I always started off using, oh, that's cool. From Lisa, and I haven't yet watched the whole thing yet, but that's cool. I'll take a peek at that and let you know. And that's fine. I just said, if you have to reverse it, that's cool. But try to make it one shot. Yeah, back to the visual poetry thing. So I consider myself a visual poet. I used to love poetry. I still love poetry. I've taken many poetry classes, and I find that visuals can emulate a similar style. And one that, when you're telling a story that really can just like feel into the vibes and emotion of your viewer, maybe into your own emotion on how you're taking on a treatment visually. So this is kind of the way that you're going to go. And if you go to my, again with the if you check out my YouTube channel, you can actually see some visual poetry. Nick Marcoux, XQZT video, search that stuff, you should find me. But yeah, we're talking about camera movement, so there's a bunch of different elements that you can work in there. Camera movements. What kind of camera movements do we have, guys? Do we have any interactivity today? Only 4 viewers, but that's okay. Getting up about 30 viewers a time for this thing. Trying to get this thing out there more platforms so everyone has a chance to really see it from different scopes. Anybody? Camera movement? Pan. Thank you, McKenna. What else? So you got the pan, that's left to right motion from a tripod, not physically moving the camera. Pan. Tilt. Alright, that's kind of what I did in my shot, is I did this kind of like soft tilt and a tilt back. Hey Pat. I talked to Pat yesterday on the live feed. So seniors, if you're watching this, I still have yet to talk to a few of you. I really want to talk to you so that way we can get some personal talk on your senior films, because they're going to be sick. No matter what, they're going to be sick, and we're in an interesting situation where it's going to challenge you creatively. It's going to be better for you. Pan, tilt. I mentioned actually moving the camera side by side. That's called trucking. So if you're physically moving the camera side by side versus from a tripod, this is trucking, this is panning, right? Tilting, right? Rolling. So if I'm like rolling into a Dutch angle, if I'm physically rolling the camera, that's rolling. Okay, that could be a lot of fun. You could spin. Fran Lizzie was asking me to do some orbiting the other day. That's when you take the camera and you physically like move it around a subject. That's a lot of fun, oftentimes done on a Steadicam rig. Dolly. Pushing the camera in. Yeah, you can mix them up. Panning Dutch. That sounds awesome. Like going, that would be sweet. I love that. Bring them together. Bring your own movement to the assignment. That's fantastic. Push, zoom. Push, zoom is, so you have dolly where you physically move the camera in. Push or zoom is when you're from that tripod and you're using a zoom function to zoom in, which has no perspective change. It just kind of like zooms in. I don't know if that's going to be easy to do, but you could try it if you have that functionality. Let's see, pedestal. So if I'm so we have tilt up, but pedestal up is when you physically move the camera up or down. So pedestal. So my shot was more of like kind of a mix of a tilt and a pedestal at the same time. It kind of captures that soft motion. And I tried to make it so that way it made the viewer be patient. So you're kind of like sitting on this, a little grainy, but sitting on the blankets before it comes up, sees the eye, and then blinks back down as I'm going nodding back to sleep. Alright, so yeah, pan, tilt, handheld. You know, if you're moving the camera around. Yesterday I was doing a lot of handheld with that little dance that I did for you. Oh, 5 viewers. And that also was like handheld, but it was also like a leading shot. It was a selfie leading shot. So when you're in front of the subject and you're backing up at the same time at their same pace, that's a leading shot. If you're behind them following, that's a follow. Pretty self-explanatory there. There might be some other camera movements that I'm missing. I'll try to remember them, and if you can come up with them, please put them in there. Ooh, whip! Yeah! So whip is when you're like a whip tilt. It's quicker. So whip, pan, whip, pan, whip, pan. Wes Anderson does that a lot in his films. Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's such a cool style. Such a cool style. The cinematographer, I believe his name is Yeoman. Yeah, he's great. He's beautiful cinematographer with the Steadicam especially. Everything's like very on point. Whip pans. You could also do focal changes. Might be a little tricky on the iPhone. The face detect, you can kind of tap and it'll change focus. So you could do like a follow focus potentially, or a rack focus. You know, focus it in on like something in the foreground, and then, you know, then tap the face and it focuses from that to that. Kind of auto, but that's how you kind of break the auto functions. Here's some fighting happen outside. Oh boy, I might have to break that up. Alright, focal changes, lighting changes. So if you like walk into some darkness, that would be really cool, and then you come out of darkness, that would make a really good loop. It's done in the movie Birdman, which is a great film. If you're looking for films to watch, Birdman's a great one. I mentioned Space Odyssey 2001 by Stanley Kubrick the other day. I also put some links in our classroom. There's a bunch of free manga films that are online. There's a link in the Google Classroom. Also, there's a man, Anima Woodsy. He's a Disney animator, and every day at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, he's doing live drawing on Instagram. So another person who inspired me greatly, and I followed him right away. He's incredibly talented. So if you're trying to learn how to draw real Disney characters, he does it. You know, he does it professionally, and now he's offering these free courses online, on live. So yeah, panning, you know, all that camera movement, and 3-point lighting can be helpful. Again, we're using practical lighting, so be careful about your white balance, whether you're going inside and out. That's obviously going to change it from like a bluer tone to a warmer tone, or vice versa. Because the sun has a different frequency of light, higher Kelvin setting than a tungsten bulb. The sun is incredibly intense, so different color temperature. And you can kind of adjust that a little bit with tint. Although if you have mixed lighting, the best bet is to take a gel and put it on your inside light. Maybe a blue gel on your inside light will match that blue light coming in through the window, and then the camera will auto-compensate and make it look natural, so that way everything's even. As you can see, my shot, still haven't worked on the lighting, because I've a gazillion other things that I'm working on, but you can always tell in this shot that my mixed lighting is horrible, and it makes me look even worse than I look in person. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Sponsored by Backwards Ripta. Anyways, another thing that you might want to think about is dressing your set. If you're not wanting to do a camera movement and you want to just like set up a shot and like walk through the shot or something like that, then think about mise-en-scène. Look up mise-en-scène, look up proxemics, look up all the different elements of mise-en-scène that can really block a scene, like where people are moving, what's going on in the background. Like I did a little artistic direction here, not much, but you can tell I have like, this has always been up there, but I put the Mark the Centaur over here, hey Kalia, and I put these cameras right here as part of my background, because that's my little bit of artistic direction. I'm really working to create a foreground, a middle ground, and a background, and I like this space up here, although this is very blank. I need some stuff up here, or less headroom, but I gave myself this little space over here, so that way it's perfect for my head, talking head, and the vertical cinemascope, as you know. Rule of thirds becomes very important, and, you know, we're breaking the rules in this journey. So you could do vert video, you could do square video, you could do landscape video, whatever you guys want. You can even crop it and be creative if you really feel like it. Make it slim, make it a thing, you know. push our attention to one direction or the next. And think about where your viewer's eyes are going to go, because that can help your trick on the loop. If you move someone's eyes over here, and then all of a sudden something happens over here, whoa, it surprises me. So I didn't see you making the puppet show up with your hands, right? Or I didn't see the trick that you were involving. Also, you can use kind of innovative things. I didn't get any mason jars or anything like that, but I have this cool little crystal. Sometimes I'll throw that in front of lenses to try to get like weird effects and stuff. Maybe use a mason jar. Oh, there I am. Dude, what up? What up? Doesn't look that great. Maybe if I threw a light in it. See what that does. Nah, this is weird. Probably gonna break my iPhone. But that's alright. Anyways, I tried. But yeah, you can play around with different effects and stuff like that. Visual, handheld, shutters, whatever, you know, just kind of like do the analog thing. That's what this is all about. Only down to 4 viewers. Somebody dropped out. That's alright, maybe they had to get to work. Probably the real Ray. That guy's a superhero out there. Getting your groceries, making you fed. You notice that flower shot that I put for the tag, my format that I'm developing here. That was from 2 weeks ago. So there is no flower, King Arthur flower, which is our favorite. And actually they reported that they're on a shortage of flour at that place. So hopefully they can make some more, because we need some cookies. We need some cookies. We need some brownies. We need all that stuff. Not as funny today. Not as peppy. Perhaps I need some more Juna Joe. Okay, so the third part of this category that we're working on with this assignment is thinking about where your cuts go. So, or what kind of cut you might be using. Typically, you might be thinking about an invisible cut, which is what I tried to do in my shot. It's not perfect, but I kind of like went from the blanket up to me, back to the blanket. So that way, hopefully, when it loops, you'd see that the blanket was just like the beginning and the end, and it just keeps going, right? It just keeps going to that same shot. Birdman does invisible cuts oftentimes where they move the camera into a black spot and then they come out of a black spot, but in fact it was 2 different takes. That's a great way to do an invisible cut. You saw a lot of them in the Tappa Waff show where you had a lot of people, they were putting the camera lid over the shot and coming back. And that's a cool trick. A little simple, but maybe you could bring some more projects, more ideas to that. If I edit in Premiere, what's the best export settings to fit IG? Haha, that's a great question, Ray. Oh, tough. What I figured out for video, like not IGTV yet, because I'm still figuring that one out, but just for IG, what I have figured out, less compressed is better. Because IG is going to compress it down to nothing. So if you're giving them a huge file, they're just going to compress it. So give them exactly what they're going to use, so that way it's perfect. Now, these are shorter videos, so I tend to export at 1280 by 720, which is the lower level HD. Again, that's 1280 pixels by 720. If it's square, it would be like 720 by 720. You could still do full HD, 1920 by 1080, or the flip of that, which this is actually vertical HD, not CinemaScope. CinemaScope would be longer and slimmer. I say that because I like the term. But compression ratio, that's the interesting part. If you toggle down, you'll notice there's this thing called VBR, that's variable bit rate. What I tend to do is I change that to CBR, constant bit rate, and then you go to your target bit rate lever. This is advanced. Bring that way down. Bring it way down to like, I've done it as low as 2.5 megabits per second, because that's what IG is going to compress it to. and I believe they have like a limitation, like they only want your videos to be a certain size. So what I do is I look at that size. You can find the spec online, and as you dial the bit rate, you can see at the bottom it shows you how big your file size is going to be. Try to meet that file size. I want to say it's like 10 megabits or something like that. They like their videos at about 10 megabits. That's what I'm figuring out with IGTV, because I'm doing an hour video up there, and they say that they only want an IGTV video to be 3.6 gigabytes, which is very compressed for an hour-long video. So I've been trying to figure out the sweet spot for that. If I get the specs on that, I'll try to send you an email. And yeah, by the way, I'm sorry I haven't got to that recommendation yet. I've been so packed. I know the deadline's coming up, but I know it's not here yet. I'm going to get that rec to you right away, Real Ray. I just posted my distant video, one McKenna, rocking it. Yo, you picked right up off the bat. And by the way, 9th grade minors, I know this is a video assignment. This was a Photoshop class. Adobe made it very difficult for all of us to have Adobe, and I know we don't have the type of computers that can handle Adobe. You'll probably crash your computer. So I decided that was a technical journey I didn't want to go to, and I wanted to figure this out instead because it's a little bit more intuitive. So you are going to get some filming assignments, which is actually quite a treat, I believe, that we're all building on this movement, the real distant projects, the real, you know, I love it. We're creating a little movement here, a little format within ourselves. And think about your own format, because it might be really chill if you guys set up your blue zones, because there may be some projects down the line that I might have you uploading bigger stuff and longer videos. But I think bringing it away from photography and into cinematography will be quite useful for you guys. It'll give you guys some skills, particularly in those performance majors where you guys can actually support dance, theater, and music, as well as film behind the scenes. Just, it's important to have video skills out there, folks. It's so weird seeing myself in reverse, because my nose, you can tell it's crooked. It goes like one way, but actually in real life it's going the other way, because we're in backwards riptozone. Uneven is the key. They say symmetry is beauty. I don't know. What do you guys think? Oh my god. I'm sorry. Way too close for this morning. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions based on that stuff. Oh yeah, so jump cut. You could do a jump cut in your loop. So that's when you have a very jarring change. Or you could do a match cut. You could say, oh, I'm going to zoom into a circle, and then the beginning of my film was also a circle. So it kind of has this very shape-like change that happens. That can be pretty neat. There's also cross-cutting. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that very well, but that's when you have two parallel things happening in two different worlds that are happening at the same time, and you're cutting between them. I don't think you're going to be able to do that in this loop, but maybe in future projects. So, invisible cut, jump cut, probably your money melon right there. Oh wow, we're at 44 minutes, but I did come in 10 minutes late, so that was roughly about a half an hour, I think. 4 viewers holding strong. No one likes to chime in live, but that's all right. I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to be broadcasting again tomorrow, and as long as we're on this quarantine, I am going to get... Yeah, I'm excited we're getting into cinematography too, because that's my thing. I am a cinematographer or a videographer or whatever you want to call me. Just pay me or give me something inspiring to do, because I love motion. I liked photography. I always loved photography. My father was an underwater photographer, and that's how I started learning at the age of 10. He was also a scuba diving instructor, so I would help him teach scuba divers. Very young, he would throw me in the ocean at the age of 10 at night for a night dive before he put all of his students in. He had no care to put his son at risk in front of everybody else, but I could handle myself. I'm a survivor. That's what filmmakers are. They're survivors. You have to know a little bit about real life. In fact, that's why I'm so proud of everyone working out there and really helping their family out and stuff like that, because, you know, it's from the struggle. It's from the real hard work that you might have to do in life that makes you a better filmmaker or photographer, because you can associate with a wide variety of people. Oftentimes, you have people that get stuffy about other people. We have so much divisiveness today. And it's important to, even if someone is like treating you wrong or in a bad mood or angry or even swears at you for that matter, sometimes you have to go back in your head and say, well, where did that come from? And is it worth the energy to be angry? It isn't. It takes up all your energy, which you could be positive with. Isn't that right, Mark? He agrees. He agrees. Or she agrees. I don't think it's a he or she. This is definitely a gender-neutral centaur right here. No question. And that's good. We need to break paradigms of that as well. People get offended by things they're scared of, but they shouldn't, because it's a waste of time. Right, Juno? Get a little sip of coffee right here. Sorry it's a little slow, but this is... man, that Wi-Fi issue really frazzled me. I was in the basement like, Wi-Fi doesn't work. I gotta go live. Thanks a lot, Cox Communications. They said they were giving everyone free internet. Pfft, not me. Not me. They're like, yeah, you gotta pay, filmmaker guy. You're making too much money on the side filming those weddings. Not really. I'm not doing that great, but I do okay. You gotta get some more work out there. I think tomorrow I might go into freelance businesses and how to develop your business, because I do think that you should be making a business out of your work if you feel like pushing yourself forward in this. It's a good way to figure out that there's a trade here, and I'll just give you a little hint right now. You know who's really looking for work right now? And if you're healthy and if you can be safe about it, churches. Now, I haven't been to church in years, but I was brought up Catholic, and I went our separate ways, but, that's for me. And anyways, not getting into that, but churches, I film in a lot of churches, like weddings and stuff like that, but they're asking people not to go to church. So what they're doing is they're doing a lot of live stream church things, and they're hiring videographers to do these. So that's a great source of new income. There's a great source of new income for artists and teachers and people that want to film this professionally. If I had the money, I would love to hire a whole crew to help me out, or be the talent, because I'd much rather be behind the camera. But yeah, so that's interesting. There's kind of like these new trades coming out. McKenna, I'm so excited that you're really into the cinematography, and I think you're going to do amazing work with this. I can't wait to look at your IG video in a moment. Anyways, this class is going a little long. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Check out that Joyner Lucas video. It's really cool. It's a great parody. He does some green screening stuff. It's awesome, and he's paying homage to Will Smith, who to me is a great example of... and a great example to kids, a great example of someone who took off from Philly, from the ground up. And I used to love that show, Fresh Prince. Oh, man. Anyways, I think I'm kind of running out of steam. Worked really hard on making this all happen. I hope it all makes sense. I hope it's useful to you. I know I kind of rant and rave, and for all I know, I'm going to watch this thing and be like, what is wrong with you?